Hey, welcome to Picking Daisies, the podcast where we dive into all things messy, beautiful, and a little bit chaotic. I'm Mary Hendricks, your hot mess of a host, ready to walk with you through every laughable, cry-worthy, and grow-worthy moment. Every Tuesday, join me and an incredible lineup of fellow moms, women, and experts as they share their own stories of growth, resilience, and silver linings that they've uncovered. Together, we're building a village, a reminder that even in the thick of it, you are truly never alone. Because let's be real, we all have our mess. Everyone's got those moments. But here, we are finding the beauty in it, also the humor, and growing from whatever life and motherhood may bring our way. Welcome to Picking Daisies.
Adamant about making sure that I had everything set up. I even have my light plugged in. Honey, I am that.
Look at you.
Oh,
See,
I'm
we're
ready.
perfect. Yay.
This is my first opportunity to
Take
sit
a breath.
down.
Take a breath. That's same with me. Oh my God. I
You never
literally
know.
got, I got in a shower and my husband was like, do you guys want to go? Like he always, does your husband do that? I don't know how, you have two kids, but my husband would be like, does someone want to go in the shower with mommy? And I'll be like, shut up, like get out. I'm going in by myself.
No, well, I thought it was really funny. My husband and I are still new to two because my youngest is 5 months, almost 6. And he's still not even ready to take both of them. So I have one of them. He's napping. Thank God. I'm pretty sure that it's going to be a solid one. But I was like, I ran to the garage. I had a meltdown. I haven't slept this week.
Yeah.
I've slept 8 hours since Sunday. My son has like a cow milk allergy. So
my youngest one, we thought she had that, and then it turned out it was
maybe your mouse.
Only thing that I don't know. Are you like a good producer with like breast milk and stuff?
I can't breastfeed. I don't produce milk.
Damn it.
So
I was going to say, because that was like, because I was an overproducer and that was what was doing it because she got so much of like that milky or the watery milk. What is it? That 4 milk or something. And it was making her stomach upset. So that's what we found out was the reason, was that she was getting too much of like the watery stuff and it was like really hurting and she wasn't getting like the bulk of it. So
go lay down. And I have a master. Go lay down. So I have an idea that it's, a thing, it's going on, but I'm kind of like isolating the issue. I'm trying to figure out what the problem is. I'm trying to figure out, stop, Jess, stop. She only does that too and then doing something. Lay down. Get in your bed.
What is it, a mastiff?
Yeah, she's a mastiff. Come here.
I want to see her. I want to see her big face. Oh, oh, look at this baby. Oh, yeah. Oh,
yeah. She.
Oh,
so down. You need to be out. Can I take her out?
Go ahead. We're fine. We haven't even officially. Yeah, go ahead. We haven't officially started, or else we might. I don't know. Do you want to start?
I don't care. Whatever. I'm done with anything. You said you wanted raw. Here I am in the flesh.
Yeah, I like doing it. Let's do that.
I trust you. Go ahead.
All right.
So I suspect he has a cow milk allergy. So I'm kind of trying to like isolate the issue and the variable because there's so many. And I don't remember where I was going with that, but I ran to the garage. And my husband, I came back in and I'm like, and he's like sitting there waiting for me. And like, we had talked about like, okay, like, here's what time I'm doing my thing. Here's my dad. Here's what we're doing. He's like, okay, great. Here's what I'll do while you're gone. And we're still at the phase of like he was sitting there waiting for me to get done before he could go get ready. And I'm like, no, you have to find a way to do both.
You're going to have to, you're on your own. That's what I am. I just told my husband, I was like, kids, daddy's here. He will help you because I had to lock the basement door because I'm in the basement. So I like locked it. I was like, you guys cannot come down here because he's up there. He's there, but they don't care.
My oldest is only 2. So we're still so new at all of it, but it's funny because like he's like, well, I was waiting for you so I could shower. And I'm like, but what do you think I do?
Yeah.
Like, single day.
I know.
And he's like, I know that's what you do. So I said, okay, before this goes any further, can we establish, is it your preference? Are you here now formally saying you will not be showering while you have both of them until they are both napping? So I can assume if I were to disappear tomorrow, that's the solution that you would have. So I don't have to, no longer do I have to expect that you will eventually do it the way I do it. I will just have to understand it could be 2 days before you shower if you don't get them both down at the same time. He goes, yes. I said, all right, well then,
That's
luck
fine
to you, sir.
Good luck. Yeah, there we go. Have fun. They got to figure it out. That's the thing. Well, I have 3 obviously, and hi everyone. We're just going to start. Hi everyone. We're just keeping it raw. I have Jess here, and we're going to formally introduce all that. But yeah, I obviously have 3, but like the 2 on, I had 2 under 2. So did you have a 2 under 2? Or you're okay. So
apart.
Oh, mine are 21. So yeah, you're literally in the same shoes as I was, but it rocked my world, not to as a negative, but it's because it is literally such an adjustment period, that 1 to 2, because like you already established one routine for just the one. And now when you have a second one, you have to make sure that the first one isn't going to like accidentally hurt the second one. And like, it's just so much to like, yeah, it's insane.
And my daughter, the more my son needs me, the more my daughter needs me, right? She's competing for that. And she's been great. And a lot of things have been relatively easy as compared to stuff right now. You have got to be kidding me. I have a mastiff.
I know. You're good. Let's reinforce that. Jess has a mastiff that wants to climb on her lap right now, and he's adorable.
FaceTiming somebody or, on a call. But,
he's like a child. It's fine.
Absolutely. She's the exact same age. She's 2.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So you got a lot going on. Okay.
Usually how I like to introduce myself to people because they're
that's fine.
So you're an idiot?
No, you're not. No, because you right now are literally, you're me. How many years ago? 4 years ago. That was me.
Which is part of what connected me to you. Yeah. Because I still want a 3rd baby.
But here's the thing. Well, and see, if you say that, I know you're looking at yourself being like, what the fuck? Get through this, enjoy, and just like chill and relax, because personally, the 1 to 2 rocked my world, because it was such an adjustment and it's so much chaos and it's so much a loss of control. And you have to just accept it. It's the embracing period that I finally got into with the 3rd, that I'm like, okay. It's like
that's where I feel like this sweet spot. So many of the women that I look up to, the mothers that I look up to, and you specifically, and like a lot of girls online, that I feel like there's this like tipping of the scale. You get to a certain point where you're like, this is actually beautiful. Like it's chaotic and it's crazy. But at 2, I feel like you're still grasping a trait that's strong.
You are, because even a mom of 1, you still hold on to the perfect parent complex, because you have 1. You still have that shred of hope that the plans that you had prior to kids are going to come to fruition, which some of them can. Like we all have our boundaries and things that we really hoped would happen before we had kids, but it's not. We all know that like you can say that and then life happens and whatever, but you still hold on to that with 1, and with 2 you still are, but it's also because you now have 2. You don't want people to feel like you went above your head. You don't want people to think that, like you said, I'm stupid. Like, no, you're not. You're just a mom. But like, it's a fear like that like you really struggle with. I know I did, where I didn't want people to look at, I think I remember looking, it was like my daughter, my oldest, she's a daughter too. She like threw a tantrum or something. And I remember I had my son at the time, and I was so pissed. I went inside and I was so pissed. And I said to my husband, I was like, what I hate about it is I don't want the neighbors to look outside and look and be like, Mary can't handle this. And I was like,
tell you?
And I was like, I don't know why, but it used to prevent me from like going out, or like I would really like, you were on so much edge that like I'm a huge believer that the stress over a situation is what creates the situation you were stressing about. So it's like, I think I was creating my kids to have tantrums and my kids to be on edge and whatever. Like I was creating the shit show situation because I wasn't actually just like, it's really not that bad. Like it's actually okay. So
I keep doing the same thing. And like, that is like, it's like quite literally actually like my neighbor has 2 under 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like my actual physical next door neighbor.
That's perfect.
Like, so she is like probably experiencing a lot of the very, very similar things, but our day to day is very different. She has a like thriving business, like a very successful wellness. Like she's a mom boss, and she's got a 4 different circumstances and different support. And I oftentimes like find myself never comparing, because I'm very aware of the differences that like, I'm just like, there's no way it could be the same. Right. And also never thinking for even a second that her situation is easier, because I know that was so hard for me that's what I chose not to do. Like I chose not to be in a different place for my kids every day. I couldn't. that was too hard for me. I have so much compassion for that. But I find myself often fearing that I'm the epitome of what she doesn't want to be, or like just like, I feel like I'm almost like she's in the stands and I'm like just drowning, and she's like, you don't it doesn't have to be that hard. Like, what, like, not that her situation is easier by any means, but just that I'm an absolute Tasmanian devil and I'm creating the tornado that I live in. And maybe some of that is true to a little bit of an extent, because I'm still trying to like find this. I know that there's freedom on the other end of like letting go, and like my husband and I talk about it sometimes, like, well, if we just wanted to do something, then we can like trust that we're capable and we'll pull the baby and he'll tote along and we'll go do it. But my oldest is still too little that like she can't go yet. So we're all just kind of stuck. And my husband keeps thinking that like one more would weigh us down heavier. And I keep thinking that the oldest is where the freedom lies. Like once she's just like 4, like we can go, like we can start to like have fun, and she can experience things. And she's experiencing things now and it's fun, but still with like very, very, very short windows of attention span. And like, you know, a lot of it is just so hard that our desires are like, we just like don't want to. Like, we don't want to go to a concert in the park. So if we wanted to, we'd be like, fine, screw it. Let's bring them on, bring all our stuff. But we don't want to. We're too fucking tired.
Same with us. Same with like, that's my husband and I. Like,
tired.
well, and you're in California. I know you're in California, right?
I'm in Arizona, but same.
You're Arizona. Okay. I was going to say, because when you just went outside, I was like, my sister-in-law and brother-in-law live in San Diego. Oh, God, you just see, I flew my fuck. Jesus Christ. I'm going to have to put that up as a reel because everyone else will understand what I just did. I'm drinking tea. I'm trying to cut back on fucking coffee, and I'm drinking tea, and I just flung the whole tea.
I'm pumping caffeine through my veins.
Through my body. Hey, you're fine. You do it.
I just want to let everyone know.
Good. See, you are happy and you're good. That's the thing. You don't need to even say that because that's the guilt.
Well,
I just had a guest on. Well, I get it because I literally am coming. I didn't get on my stories all day yesterday because I was crying. So like, I get it because it's overwhelming. Like, that's the thing. It's like, we just we don't see those things though. We don't see those moments. And instead you're seeing me sitting down with makeup on and a nice pretty background. So it kind of feels like, oh, Mary has her, like, but you're on top of a cooler right now.
I slapped my face to get rid of the tears.
You're on a cooler right now. I have my husband's cooler and a plank of wood. And then outside is like a ball pit that my kids destroyed. And it's just a shit show. So,
well, I told my husband this. This is something that I think maybe would resonate with a lot of people. If there's one thing I think I'm good at, it's articulating, because I'm an only child. So I spend a lot of time in my head. I
love that.
I really believe that, like, I want to be able to lift 300 pounds. And right now I'm really exhausted that I can hardly lift 75. Collectively, these kids weigh 150. Like, I want to get to a place where this is not effortless, but that I know that, like, I'm going to stretch and adapt. That's like the beautiful part of being a human. But I'm not there yet. And so I love being able to connect when it comes to like the unique pain points of this experience. But it's like, it's exactly like if I were to walk across the country, you know, like it's a memory that I'm setting out on this journey. I want to do this. I want to accomplish this, and I'm going to get blisters along the way. It's going to be,
and you will,
and really hard sometimes.
And you want to lift it, like you said, you want to lift 300 pounds. And right now, like if you want to metaphorically say it, you want to do that. You want to lift the 300 pounds. Your kids are 150. And right now you feel like you can maybe lift 75. 75 is still fucking awesome. So like, that's the way that I have tried to twist it, because trust me, I get stuck in my head too. I just had a guest on, and when she comes out, I'm going to send you the link when the episode comes out. But she is like a major mom coach, but she said it was like 2 days ago. And thank God, because I literally I had such a fucking shitty week. But
you're by yourself this week, right?
I was by myself, but I have PMDD. I don't know if you've ever seen me talk about that, but it's fucking
like the world
killer. It's bad. This one was probably the worst I've had in like 5 months. So I was really bad. But she was saying, and I was telling her about like, she goes through mom brain and like mom coaching and stuff like that because your brain changes. And she was saying, she was like, when you have kids, there are MRIs that your brain physically change. Like you lose
Have
brain
you heard
matter.
the term matrescence?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I talk about matrescence all the time. I love it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
she was talking about that, and she had said what she has found is, yeah, it's great. Please do send me anyone. I love talking about it. But she had said, yeah, but she had said when we guilt ourselves, and shame and guilt are two of the highest like vibrations that you can, strongest vibrations that you can emit. Like if you think about like your energy that you give out, I think she had said joy. I think there was one of them that like it's something positive that you can.
And gratitude.
Yeah, gratitude. That was it. Gratitude was the highest one that you can emit energy wise, and then the other one is shame. No, it's shame. It's a lower frequency, but it's just as strong. Those are the two strongest ones, the polar opposites. And she had said, when you shame and guilt yourself, you create yourself to be, that is the energy that's going to impact. Like that is, so shame is what creates the thing that you are feeling shameful of, is what the shame is creating, the guilt that you are doing. And she actually had recommended, I'm going to try it, is setting alarm in your phone every hour and pause and whatever your phone is doing. So set it to go off and think when it goes off, think about what you were just thinking about. And like, if it was a negative thought, you stop and you rewire that thought. And you stop in order to get your brain to rewire, because it's essentially your neuroplasticity and stuff like that with your brain. You can change it. It just takes a lot of work. But she had said, yeah, try it. And I was like, so give me an example. And I said, like, I'm not doing enough. If like, maybe that's something like you cut yourself. And she's like, well, you ask that. She's like, if you're asking a question, it means that you have to prove it true or not. So ask yourself, is that true? No, what's enough? What's enough? What are you basing that off of? Right, so it's like all these things where she was like, you can walk yourself through this. And I was like, that's so cool. But
that's really cool. But I have also read too that, and that makes a lot of sense, because I've read that the biggest or the hardest feeling for a child to overcome is shame. So if you create shame, or you make shame, or you make a child feel ashamed, that creates like threads in their being, like inside. Like
well, and I'll tell you, that's actually true. And one of the things, like for me being a mom of when I had my two, and because like 7,
and
so she'll be 3 next month. Yeah, so we're almost out of that. Almost out of like the crazy baby phrase, but now I'm in the different middle school weird worries shit. It's weird. So I don't know. But what was I going to say? I just forgot what I was saying.
Physical?
Oh, yeah, it's less physical, and your kids are more independent, not like completely, being that I had to lock myself down in the basement, but you have a little bit more, they have more awareness, and you can explain a little bit better, which is what I was going to say, is having to. You're probably going to find yourself having a moment or many. Oh, I know I did. And you're going to continue to. Everyone will. It doesn't even matter if you're a mom of 2, mom of 1, doesn't matter. You're going to have a moment. But the biggest thing that like I had a guest on explain to me, and she'd worked with kids, same thing what you had said with shame. Kids are always trying to find the answer. Like that's what kids are doing. They're trying to learn and trying to make sense of the world. And so they'll fill in the blanks constantly, and they will default to shame. So if you have a really shit moment, don't like immediately excuse it. You don't have to like panic or anything. Go have that moment. Go take a breather. Go back and repair. It's the repair that is really important, that I don't think like when we say that, like older generations are kind of like, whatever. But I think it really is. It doesn't mean that you're excusing it, or you're taking blame or accepting fault. You're not doing any of that. You're literally just explaining what happened. Like if you have a really shitty moment. I have PMDD moments. Like it was 2 weeks ago. I punched the door. I didn't break it, thank God, but I fucking punched the door. I hit things. Like, they were in the kitchen, but they can hear it. My daughter, and she just knew. And I just she's been through it with me a little bit, but she just looked at me, and I just walked her, and I was like, I am so sorry. And I was like, and she does it. And I was like, when you just want to scream when you're so angry. And I said, I don't know. Sometimes I don't know what to do, because I don't want to scare you guys from doing that I just immediately, I didn't like put a hole through it. I just banged it where I was like, something quick. But I was like, it just, mommy's trying to figure that out. And I said, that feeling that you're really frustrated. I said, it was wrong. And I don't want you guys to think that. And like, I don't want you to handle it that way, but like, I want you to explain, like, I want you to understand that it's like, I'm not doing it because of you guys, or I'm not like, you're not at fault or anything like that. So like, I try and do that. But
value in that though. I feel like it's important that she sees that like you're human and that you're like, okay, well, I don't know how to work through this. And we're getting through it together.
Yeah, because I don't want to be a pedestal. I think that's my biggest thing. Like, and I think that's why I wanted you on too. And which I'll say this in a second. No, wait. Introduce yourself. It's way too late at this point.
Well, you can figure out.
I'll put it beforehand. But, yeah, never mind. I won't have you introduce yourself. I'll put it beforehand and then we'll just get into it. But I think it's just, with kids, they fill in the blanks and you just have to kind of go with it and just not set yourself as a pedestal as an example. I think that's my biggest thing is I don't want my kids to ever put me on a pedestal. I don't want anyone to ever do that. Like, I don't want anyone here listening to do that. I don't think that's why I wanted you on, is like, there's a whole slew of moms that are really just starting to share this, not to be a coach. Like, I don't ever want someone to come and be like, Mary is a mom figure, moms to follow. And we're not trying to like influence you to like, whatever. We're just trying to not influence. Like, I don't like to even say that. I just like to say I'm trying to create a community. I don't know.
Same. I feel like, I was drawn to you because I mean, to kind of bridge things together and like obviously like content creation and all this, like, so as I, on social media, I share, I started my journey sharing about weight loss.
Yep.
And, I lost 85 pounds and I, was this young hot thing, and I got engaged, and then I got married, and then I got pregnant almost right away. But I had been with my husband for 9.5 years before we got engaged. So like, as far as I was concerned, like I was fine. We were ready to go. And also, I was 34 when we started, so I was under the impression that it could take me 2 years.
Forever. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Who knows? So like, and I followed way too many people who were like undergoing IVF. So I was like, pretty.
There is. I mean, I know it's like the older you get, they say the harder, but I literally thought that if I hit 30, I would never be able to have kids. I don't know what it was. It was like this like mindset, like you have to have kids. Like,
I have no idea.
I don't know.
Alta, come on, stop. She never like that. That is so funny. Can you hear her?
No, you're good. I can hear a little bit, but it's not anything.
Then I'm gonna.
It'll be fine.
I'm not even gonna worry about it.
You're fine.
So I lost weight. I shared that online and I grew this community and it was incredible. And then I became a mom, and my goal throughout, working and sharing things online, while like the weight loss type of stuff. And then I lost weight and I was kind of sharing more about beauty. People were like, okay, great. I love that you just made this, dinner, but tell me more about your hair. Tell me more about your makeup. Tell me more about no one's ever asked me about my outfits because, girl, I'm always shopping on Amazon, or like, this is my husband's. Hey,
I'll ask you about it though.
I got this from my husband's side of the closet. Okay, please.
Love it.
I need you to stop. Give me a spot. Do it.
Scratch your butt. Maybe she'll just like lay down.
It's because there's people across the street that are moving. Go outside. Go. There's people across the street that are moving. Go. You're better off just parking them outside. Come on. This is like the most embarrassing thing ever, but I'm so grateful.
It's not embarrassing.
Safe. Okay.
It's not. It's fine, because this is what my podcast is about. It's real life. It's fine.
It's real life. It's happening. Hey, you are making my butt look clench. Oh, also, I think she's saying the rings. So, yep, you are locked out. You've got access to all the things you need. I hope you feel safe. It's actually beautiful out there. You should just live it up. Get some sunshine.
Please, as it's like freaking frigid here in New Jersey. It's awful.
I know. I totally didn't even think about how that would affect somebody who's been cooped up.
No, I'm like so envious. Oh God, I need sun so badly. I sat and just like basked in it through my window. It's like negatives. It's awful. Ugh.
So funny.
Enjoy it.
So I lost the weight.
Don't worry about it because it blocks out background noise. I'll get out as much noise as I possibly can with the app and everything. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. So
you're good.
Lost the weight. And I shared that process online. And then, like, what kind of questions my community was asking me changed in a big way. And so I felt really good about sharing beauty and makeup and hair. And those were also, by the way, all the things that I could always control, despite how heavy I was throughout all the different years and like the way
Of
my
course.
body. And so I loved talking about that. I felt comfortable and safe. And then I got pregnant. And that first period of time, obviously so isolating, right? Like, you're like, I don't know. I wouldn't even let my family in real life talk about it or be celebrating, or like I wouldn't let them like even buy a car seat. I was 34. I didn't know. I got
Paranoid.
pregnant so fast that I just kept thinking, the
this is too
more
good
I
to be
wanted
true.
this, the more I want this, the more I'm not going to get it. It's going to go away.
Yep.
So I just put it to the side and I was like, I will believe it when I see it.
Yep.
I didn't even know the gender.
Oh, really? Good for you.
I was just like, I promised myself that I would try to focus on my husband and my marriage and myself. We got pregnant so fast that I was like, if I know the gender, I'm going to paint the walls and get the blankets, and I'm not going to be ready. Like, I'm going to be so focused on all the wrong things, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
I love that. I actually like that. No, but I like that. I like that awareness though. Like, that's good awareness, because it's true. Like, I think once you do find out, like, I know I did, I found out, and then that's all you think about. You literally are just like,
I thought, I was so worried that I would like dream up
a baby, and then when the baby, and then once the baby comes, or what if they don't look the same? Yeah.
I knew I'd be disappointed, and like sad. That's so sad, but like honestly, it's like kind of true. Maybe people should just like
no, it is
because it's true.
No, because I did. I've talked about it, because with my first, so I like went through it. My pregnancy was perfect with my first, but her delivery was my labor was perfect, but she had something called shoulder dystocia, so her shoulders got stuck right at the end. So it was something that you can't predict, but incredibly traumatic and scary. But I remember just being so disappointed with how the delivery went, because it sounds so stupid, but like when you got so ready, and especially it was the time during Instagram was like with big about like birth photos and all that shit, where I was like, I want this. Like, this is a major moment that everyone's doing this way. And now it wasn't, where I was like, I feel robbed. Like, I was like, I feel robbed of everything that this was like supposed to be. And you have to go through like a grief process of being like, the expectation was lost. But I think that you go through that constantly too, and just in motherhood, like, because when we decided through everything with like
getting your kid ready for like a picture day, you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, because like as they're having a tantrum, or like, I know for me, like the biggest thing that like I had to kind of grieve was like what I expected stay-at-home mom motherhood to be like. Versus how it actually is, and it was different too, like, because I saw my mom and dad do it differently too, but my mom and dad were in a different also financial status than my husband and I too. So like all these different things that I think I saw what my mom and dad had. I thought it was going to go exactly kind of that way. And when it didn't, not it's bad, but it's just like,
oh yeah, but most often I would argue that how it ends up is more beautiful than what I could have ever imagined.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
The resistance and that experience, like, and then you have like, you just have that transition period, and it takes like time, like to shift 1 degree at a time. Like, you have to experience like, this sucks. It could have been better. I guess it's okay. Actually, it's beautiful. Okay, I really love it. Okay, that my idea wouldn't have been good anyway. Like, but it takes time to like get there. Like, you have to. Like,
I think even with like deciding that I wasn't going to have any more kids, like when we decided that last year, and it wasn't like a final thing. We haven't like made a final like decision. Like, I haven't done anything because I'd have to get my tubes tied. But my husband doesn't want to get a vasectomy because he's a he's a weenie. But I was going to call him I was going to call him a pussy, but I figured that was probably not so nice. But trying to be a little bit more yeah. But when we decided, I like went through a major grief. Like, I know I did. I went through like a closing of a chapter. I'm settling into my storyline, because you build it up. You build up this entire pinnacle moment of like, most women, not every woman, but I think most women do. Like, we always picture what our kids will look like and what that's going to be like. In the moment, you have to say, okay, we're done now. And now we have to keep going on with the storyline. There's something so scary about that, where I was like, I went through like a whole grief of being like, it's not grief. It's like, I don't know what you would explain it. It's like an acceptance. It's like
it is. It's like, I mean, you do mourn to.
Yeah, it's like a mourning of.
You mourn the idea that you had, and you just like have to close that. Like, well, I think it's even like habitual. Like, you wake up every day and you put your shoes on and you go out the door. Like, you do these things every day and you go to work every day. Like, if you think about something every day and then all of a sudden you realize that that's not what it is, then it's like, that's like, even just mourning the ability to like dream about something. This is so stupid and nobody else would understand this. And I'm so embarrassed that I'm admitting this, but like, even just my babies both have blonde hair and blue eyes.
Yeah.
I have blonde hair and green eyes, and I'm sure as shit positive it's not really blonde. You know what I mean? Like, been bleaching it for years. My husband has brown hair and brown eyes, and he is the most beautiful thing that's ever my eyes have ever witnessed. I wanted so desperately. I was imagining a baby that looked just like him, and neither of them have brown hair and brown eyes.
Yeah.
And like, I keep like looking at my son's eyes because he's 5 months and I'm just like, is it getting any darker? I mean, of course I'm so blessed and like grateful that he has blue eyes and he's so sweet and he's going to be like the perfect, picture perfect image of exactly, you know, what he's supposed to be.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But I like,
well, because it's just a dream. That's a thing. It's like all of us are allowed to have our own separate dream.
For 10 years.
Yeah. And now it's just, it's in your head. And sometimes I don't think it's like necessarily that we like are mad that it's not the same. It's like our brain doesn't understand that like our brain has to come to terms with it where we're like, okay.
Keep redirecting her. Like, no, baby, you got a blue eye, baby. And I'm like, well, I want it. Wait. Like, come on.
Come over there.
Blue eye kids.
Yeah.
We got blue eye kids. Okay? We got blue eye kids.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, but it's so true. It's so true. But actually thinking about like and grieving other things. So you talked about stopping work. I wanted to talk on that because we had chatted prior about like things. So like, explain all of that. Explain your journey. Yeah.
Well, so I worked in the financial services industry, and specifically at the job that I worked at in finance for 10 years. I quit on my 10-year anniversary.
Oh, wow.
So I had phenomenal benefits. I got 6 months paid maternity leave. I made great money. I worked from home. I made 6 figures. I don't admit this enough, though. And I want it to be very clear, partially because I have ADHD and partially because I'm a workaholic. I was working 55 hours a week. So like, yes, I made great money, but not working 20 hours a week. You know what I mean? Like, not working part-time. Yeah. Like, I was hustling, working until 11 o'clock at night sometimes, waking up before, 5 to get ahead, to get caught up because I was overcompensating by the fact that I was behind. So I was overcommitting to things that I really couldn't fucking do. So then I was having to like... all
going crazy. Yeah. I know.
Being this shining star in the corporate world, but I was inside drowning, unhappy. I was making at one point over $200,000 a year by myself, just between work and Instagram. And the more that I made, 2 things were happening. One, I was in financial services, so I was not the type of person that was like my spending wasn't keeping up with my income. And the more I made, the more I was saving. Like, I was really good about that. I was acting as if I didn't make that income at all. Yeah. But I kept the target for success kept moving. Like, okay, I just need to make more. I just need to make more. I just need to make more. And I kept thinking that like, this will be the last opportunity. This will be the last brand deal. This will be the last overtime opportunity that like I kept taking more and more and more and more and more to the day I delivered my baby. Yeah. And then I stopped and I realized the world kept going. Yeah. And I didn't have to make money and my husband was still paying bills and he got a huge promotion and all these stars started to align. And it was abundantly clear that if I look back at the life that I said that I lived, I would be more proud of spending my time with my kids than saying I made more money. Yeah. And I knew after selling life insurance and retirement plans and all of these things for a decade that the one thing I was always going to wish I had more of was time with my kids. And so I was like, all right, fine, fuck it. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to go all in. I see these girls on Instagram. They're doing it. All I have to do in my head, I had like 50,000 followers at the time. And I'm like doing the math. All right, well, maybe I could even make more online. Yeah. If I, do this. Really. So I decided on my 10-year anniversary to quit. My boss told me, congratulations. They paid me out for the rest of the month and I quit on the 1st.
Good for you. And I love that.
They were so supportive and they were so kind. And they still check in on me, and it was just an amazing experience. And then I hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
Because I gave up
you were
my
go.
career.
Yeah.
And I gave up my career and what I thought was like my identity. I was so afraid of anybody asking me what I do because I didn't know. I wasn't really making it as a content creator. I couldn't put anything out. I didn't know what I was comfortable sharing. I didn't feel beautiful anymore. So I wasn't comfortable sharing my hair and my makeup. Who the fuck wants to know how this, like, I wasn't doing my hair. So what?
Yeah. What's the fuck? Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I wasn't doing my makeup. My skin looked ugly. I was 50 pounds heavier than when I created this low carb account, and I was ashamed and I was embarrassed. And I thought that the more I showed up, people would like start to realize it. And then don't even get me started on the fact that like I've had experiences online where I've like met people in real life and then have like maybe not met their expectations. And that was like before, right? Like,
what?
Yeah. It's a parasocial relationship. You fill in the gaps with somebody. You think that they're going to be something that you hope that they are. And then I'm just me. And that doesn't always translate. And, you know, you're talking to somebody who's sitting in their bed at 3:00 in the morning, scrolling their phone, maybe half paying attention. And then they get to decide that you're their best friend.
Yeah.
And then it's up to me to live up to that expectation. And I don't do that well.
I know. And that's like one thing that's like sometimes paralyzing to get on, where it's like you just, I don't know. I said, well, I haven't been on my stories yet. I haven't been on my phone all weekend. I've been in that again. It's again, PMDD. I can't. I was but like, then, I cannot.
Like you, I experienced that too. Where I get off track and then you get in your head. How do you show up? What do you say? Like, you know that like no one gives a shit and you're not going to be like, here's where I've been. Sorry, you missed me. Like no one missed.
No one cares. Yeah.
Cycle of like, how do you get back onto track of like what you were doing when you got out of the habit because you got out of flow and you were.
Well, that, and then like what's also weird too is because I'm in a new phase of motherhood, that's also incredibly intimidating because this is so new uncharted territory for me also, where it's like, it's not as easy. Like there is a whole niche. Like if you think about it, if you look like moms, in your demo, it's a very big thing. I'm not as much in that anymore. And I have my kids out of the house more. I'm starting to actually have more time for me again, which means that I can actually start to like, I feel like that's why I'm also a little bit funky. It was like, I'm actually being confronted with myself now. And I have to sit with me and be like, who are you? Because you've been like drowning. I say treading pudding. I like to call it treading pudding. You've been treading pudding for the last 3 years now. Like, who the fuck are you? And now I'm like, and if I share that, will people like it? Or will I then, and like, I don't want to get in my head. You don't want to do that where I'm always like the number one that's going to be like, tell everyone to go fuck off. But you still do. And when it is a business, and not that I want it to be, and I hate that. And everyone listening, I hate saying that because it truly, like I said, I don't want to be an influencer, but at the same time too, for us to be able to create the communities that we have to be able to monetize it at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
I have to be able to live. Like I would have to go, to all fairness, like I would have to go and get a job out of the house. I would not be able to show up in the same manner that I am now that you're enjoying. So if I need to keep that, then I have to have a monetization aspect of it. Right. But because of that, which I fucking, like all of this, I hate, like I really do hate this because it's like the rat race where,
right.
Yeah, where it's like, if I want to share just me and me painting my bum ass nails that I'm picking at right now, I'll probably get, I shared recently, it was like me making snow ice cream with my kids because we just did that on a snow day. It was a random reel. I didn't think about it. It got 100 likes. I have 200 and almost 70,000 followers and I got 100 likes. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? And I was like, you know what? But I left it. I'm going to leave it. But it just, for me, I was like, it's so infuriating that like, I get the whole niche thing. I understand it, but like, I'm not a fucking niche. I'm not a niche. Like I'm not.
I do not. I
that.
think that, listen, honey, two things.
It's so hard.
Right let me hold your hand. First and foremost, I'm going to say, I think 2025 is our year because it's
got to be.
There like in corporate worlds, I think Instagram has very similar parallels when it comes to like, there's always going to be years where certain things are valued, like quality or quantity or whatever, right? Like sometimes it's like, you can put up dog shit and like, we'll push it out to everybody. and we like just post 5 times a day and like you'll grow. Or there's like, listen, like people are being inundated, they're flooded, they don't want shit content. Like we really need to kind of like refine it to like quality. Like they're expanding long form, they're that kind of thing. I think that the hopeful strategy is that like the comfort creators, the real, the raw, the edgy, the rugged, the not so perfect, the not so aesthetic, the like real people are kind of where, especially as AI continues to grow, people are going to gravitate, I think, more towards personalities. And so snow ice cream, while it might not like flap when it comes to like growth, like
it's there. Well, and
but it does what it does. Like you just like remember the like that's for your 100 girlies that need it in like it and like that. And also likes are vanity thing that I think like I don't even take
they're such bullshit
anymore.
No, I don't even. Yeah, I just watch. Like I'm just like I want to view it. Yeah,
I think it's a social thing that people aren't even like. I think people aren't even liking things as much anymore. So I don't think it's a representation of good, bad, or otherwise like it used to be. And I think it like I'm gonna just trust that it like doesn't fucking matter because. Again, to bring it back to the like the story and what happened was like I quit my job and I decided I was going to become a full-time content creator. And then not only was my internal identity rocked, but like these bitches have been lying to you.
Yeah.
Hello. If you think that stay-at-home moms are content creators, no, the fuck they're not.
No.
They have nannies. They have help. They have husbands that work at home with them that are taking on half the load, that are
especially if they are like, especially if they are like a full-fledged like content creator where they are like fully producing like plans and stuff like that.
He's working for the business, the family business, or he's working at home. And I'm not going to say that that's across the board because you do find your people. But if you find somebody who's truly a stay-at-home mom who happens to create content, she's not showing up every day on social media. Her hair is undone half the time. She is walking out the house with her kids in tow and a baseball hat on, and they're all wearing like their pajamas. Like the reality is that so many of the people who I thought put their kids down and then did a couple of outfit reels, like I thought that they had more organization, more time, better something that I could eventually achieve and strive to be like.
I know. Yeah.
And then I realized that they fucking had help. Like their circumstances were different. And thank God for them. I'm so happy. But I didn't know that when I made the decision to follow in that footsteps. And so I'm here to say, I don't have help. I don't have a really great support system. I have a beautiful family that loves my kids so much. They don't live very close. And neither of us have brothers and sisters. And neither of us have like real close friends that, like take on that kind of thing. And like, that's great. Like this is the season of our life that we dreamed of. And we know that it's going to end. We're totally great with embracing date nights at home. And also,
of course.
Like, I keep seeing so many people who are forcing date nights every other Friday. And like, they're fighting right before they walk out the door and they're not having fun and they don't fit into their dress. And they're spending $375 between going out to eat, a movie, and daycare. Like, I don't want to force that. I just want to, like, be where we're at. But I would be remiss to not admit that that was incredibly challenging and isolating and difficult. And I wouldn't wish that on anybody. And I'm really glad that I think I'm on the other side of it for now. I have boundaries. I am allowing myself to rest when there's time. I don't need to be creating content every single day. I'm using B-roll. I'm using raw, real moments, text on screen. If you don't like it, I don't give a shit. I'm not vlogging my whole fucking day. I'm not creating a recipe from the bottom up. I'm not going to do a how-to tutorial every single time. I will, like, 5 seconds here and there. I'm reusing content. I'm showing up as myself, and I'm making this process simple, and I think it's going to be our year when it comes
and that's what, and it absolutely will, because then that's what I've always done. I think that's what my success has been, is that I've never had strategy. So for me, and like, that's where, actually, it's more the podcast where I don't have strategy. So for me, where I actually get I need strategy for the podcast, where I'm like, I need someone to come in, please. But I have a virtual assistant. Last year I had 3, but it was still a shit show because I suck at delegating. I really suck at being a boss, because that's the thing, is like, I didn't get into this to be a boss babe. Like I didn't get into this. I didn't even get into this with the idea that this was going to be what
Me either.
I do.
I was
And
halfway down the road before somebody was like, "You can make money."
yeah,
And I'm like,
I didn't even know that you could. Yeah. I was like, I didn't know
I'm
that. But once
trying
I
to.
did, well, and I wasn't trying to. And even now, like you had said, when I do, you save it. Like because I don't want this to be, I save as much as I can for it, but I'm trying to not treat this like it's my main source of income, or like it's not even our main
Not
source of
rely
income.
on
My
it.
husband,
Right.
yeah, I don't want to rely on it at all because it scares me, because when I feel like I'm relying on it, that's actually when I get so much more in my head with what I'm creating, because
Yeah.
it stresses me out when I think about like
Same.
it's riding on my success, where I'm like, that's such bullshit. I just started this for fun, and I'm like, I got to keep it that, because that's what's gotten me here. So that if I start stressing about, again, it's what you stress over is what's going to create this situation. And
Right. But I can say that
yeah,
I think, again, to bring it back to the story, I think that like why I found you, why women are drawn to us, why we're feeling called to share these types of things online is because we are all trying to create like, motherhood experiences, whatever it is in these silos, especially now that there's like social media, which has made us all personally antisocial, right? Like we
yeah,
don't know, like we don't talk to people. So like
yeah,
we have to
yeah,
find like
yeah,
we don't
yeah.
even go outside. So
I don't
like
go anywhere. It's fine.
but the same. But because I don't go anywhere and because this is kind of like the island that I'm on, right? Like that
Mhm.
song that's going around. But like I turn to social media. I connect with women who are like me. I find women who are sitting in a circle talking about the fact that they kicked things and that they all had rage. And I'm like, wait a second. No. So not only am I not broken, not only is it like somebody else's experience that too, but like it gives me hope that there's another way and that I can overcome it. And then
Yeah,
something that I wouldn't have even considered, like I just would have been shameful. Like me
yeah,
getting angry about something so silly and like feeling like a moment of rage. That was something that like when I've experienced that, which hasn't been very often, but I'm willing to bet maybe it will now that I know that it's a thing. But like I
yeah,
experienced that and I'm like, oh my God, like I can't ever tell a soul because I must be absolute horror. Like I must be a monster. And
yeah,
then just casually seeing that other women are like going through that too, and that you've experienced that and you've overcome that. I just feel like that's part of why I feel so drawn to creating content and talking to women and showing up
yeah,
online, because there's somebody out there that does have to go to work every single day, that doesn't have an option, that is also probably struggling with the same amount of limited time and limited
oh yeah,
resources, and then can turn to us
yeah,
and be like, oh my God, like maybe they're not creating content, but they're still experiencing the exact same thing. So
oh,
how
absolutely,
incredible that we
yeah,
just virtually hugged them and they didn't even have to stop and ask for it. Like they're
yeah,
only getting messages that are meant for them. So I don't know. I feel like it's such a magical thing, but I
yeah.
didn't realize that trying to do both at the same time would be so
It's
fucking
a
hard.
lot. It's so hard. It's so
I had
hard.
a virtual
Yeah.
assistant. Is $40 an hour a lot for a virtual assistant?
How many hours? So month.
Oh, I was giving her like 15 hours a month.
That's I mean, what does that come out to? What is that? What's the math? You're
$550. It was like $550. It was more than my car payment.
actually, that's not terrible for how much. I mean, for the hours, that's not bad. I don't think.
Well, the problem was that it took me 15 hours a month to prepare her to do 15 hours.
See, and that's why. That's why.
I was like,
It literally is not what I'm designed for. I don't like I need someone to create a
but she's like
robot that I
texting
can
me like
just
on Thursday and like, hey, like I'm almost done for the week. Did you have anything you wanted me to do?
no. I haven't talked to my virtual assistant's probably listening to this, but I haven't talked to her in like 2 weeks. And
We
when
miss
I do,
you.
yeah, we missed you, but we talk, and I just was like, I'm going to handle the things, I think, for now. I was like, because I was like, I'll just take them and do them this week, but I'm going to give them back to her for next week. But I'm like, I don't know what's wrong with me. And then I get stressed over that. And I'm like, you need to figure this out. But I also
Same.
don't think, but I think I have an expectation of myself that is not accurate. Like, I don't think it's a logical expectation of what this
It's
looks
not.
like, where no, and I even thought about it with like, I was thinking about it this morning with like getting in the shower, and I was like getting dressed, and I know you talk about weight loss and stuff like that. I've gone through that, but I talk more about because I have a history of disordered eating. So I just have always yo-yoed and whatever. But like recently, I wasn't the greatest and I've been so stressed and everything before launching the podcast. I'm getting better, but I really lost a lot of weight to a point where it was like, it wasn't because of a choice. It was a mental health thing. But I just was thinking and I was like, I don't think people even realized what happy would look like. Like if I gained weight, would people then think that I wasn't looking happy? Or would they truly not recognize that? And I'm like, I don't think anyone actually understands what anything looks like because everything has been so skewed where I'm like, we don't even know what a regular motherhood looks like. It is the shit show. It is the chaos. And like, that's the thing. And that's why like going back to like from 2 to 3 is like, you need those women. You need those people in your life. I met a mom that has 2. She's probably your kids are probably the same as hers recently. And I don't think we've gotten together. No, we haven't gotten together yet. We have to do that. But she was saying, and I was like, everyone needs a mom of 3 in their life to just help remind you.
It just gets better. Or that
it just gets
okay.
It's okay.
It's not
because
perfect.
as like she was like on top. I know she had her 2, but she was like really on top of them. And like meanwhile, I'm like looking and Haley's like, I don't know, nudie Judy, probably streaking in someone's backyard. And I'm like, it's fine. But I was like, she was like, how do you have like that? I was like, because you realize, I think 1 to 2, like I said, you're kind of everything. You take everything personally. You take everything as a reflection of you. 1 to 2, you're also taking everything personally, but now it's a reflection on to others. You want what your reflection to look like. And 3, you realize that it doesn't matter what you do. These kids are all the fucking same. It had nothing to do with you in the long run. They're all just heathens. And that is the end of it. Okay. It's fine. We're going to survive. It's okay.
Exactly. That's why I'm showing up. And that's why I'm showing up now, sharing my weight loss journey again. I can't tell you how humbling it is to have gone the jump scare from, losing 85 pounds, gaining 50 pounds with my daughter, losing 50 pounds, gaining 60 pounds. Like, I have always heard, I've seen, I've watched, I've listened. They say it gets harder after kids. It gets harder as you get older. But like, I just thought this was like for regular Joes that I was gonna be different.
I know.
That, like, it would be easier for me, and like I was like excited for it to be easier for me. And I also thought like after losing 85 pounds, like I was like, but I got this. Like it's totally fine. Like I'm gonna like be this cute pregnant girl with this like little baby bump. And then but then I like experienced a humbling shock. And and the great thing is like I'm also experiencing all of the freeing things that are coming with like growing a baby and having confidence and having a husband who like is still into you despite the fact that you are like changing and different, and like my hips are 3 miles wide, and like that's totally okay with him. He like that's beautiful and that's great, and like there's a whole new level of comfort and safety that comes with that, but it still could be isolating if I didn't choose to like show up and share. And so I'm excited that I've now come to a place in my motherhood, and it did take 2 years now, like that I had to get through the second baby. The second I got my sea legs and I started to like really feel like I was getting my routine and I was starting to know what I was doing, I got pregnant again. It was like that night, like that day I felt better. And like that I was like not in my fertile window.
That was, I know I was, but I remember I like got offered a job position. I was personal training. I was losing weight and all that stuff. And once I got the job offer, I looked at my husband because I think we probably had like sex the day before because we were trying. I looked at him, I was like, I guarantee I'm pregnant. And he was like, why? And I was like, because I'm just getting back into life and I guarantee this is going to be the go that happens. And sure enough, that was it. So
that was exactly what happened. I felt better. And then like the first time I got pregnant, I think I told you, I didn't even tell my husband I took the IUD out until I got pregnant. I was just like, surprise.
Woo.
And so that was beautiful and that was great. The second time I got pregnant, I was so shocked. I told him on his way out the door. On his way, he was getting ready to go to work.
Hey.
I was like, just so you know, it was my daughter's birthday.
Yeah. There you go.
I need to hurry up and get this out so I can focus on her for the rest of the day, and then see you at Build-A-Bear.
Yeah. I love that.
I don't know. We didn't find the gender out for my son either.
Yeah.
And then when he was born, the whole time, like, I just thought, like, okay, if it's a girl, then we'll be done. If it's a girl, we'll be done. If it's a girl, we'll be done. Because I don't fucking want 3 girls ever. Like, I'd rather push my cuticles back with a rusty flathead. No desired. 3 girls. And I'm
3
like,
hormonal
okay.
teens. Yeah.
Like, no, thank you. I am 7 women in my own body.
I just thought about that with PMDD, and I was like, is that genetic? If my daughter's going to have this, if that, are we going to have 3 like,
I'm like, I don't think I can handle that. So if it's a girl, we're done. And then it was a boy. And like, I was so happy that it was a boy. And then I was so sad that I felt, I was like, we're not done. And he was like, go, let's get home first. And I'm like, I'm just telling you.
Not done. Yeah.
I don't think we're done. And then this, last 5 months has been me kind of trying to like figure out how to juggle an extra ball. And now I feel like I am sort of embracing the fact that like there's so much freedom in sharing the things I'm afraid to share. And I can help people, and I can help with the weight loss, and I can help with, at the very least, but I feel this release from no longer having to be an expert. I used to think that, I think like 2 years ago,
I know you had to.
An expert.
Yes, that's the hardest part. It's like
in 5 steps.
Yep.
Or 7
everything.
Steps. 5
these are 5 things that I always struggle, because I'm like, I see people do like, these are 5 things I would tell myself. And I'm like, I don't fucking know what I would tell anyone some days. And I'm like, I don't know what I would tell myself. Why do I have to know what I'm going to tell you? Right? Yeah. I'm like, I don't know, but
exactly. Yeah. But now I feel like there's a shift, and there's like, it's like, don't you dare try to tell me what you think I should do. What are you doing? And like, that's something I can show up and tell you, like, here's what I'm doing. I don't care if you have an opinion about how I'm losing weight. I take a GLP-1. It is the absolute fucking most fantastic thing that's ever happened to me, and I would only recommend it for anybody who felt like it would work for them. Like, I don't put it on anybody, but I certainly am willing to share my experiences. It's incredible how like quiets the food noise. I haven't given the energy to like thinking about food in the same kind of way. Yeah. And what I really want to do, this is like kind of a tangent, but my whole goal, I've struggled with weight my whole life and eating my whole life. And I've never had any sort of like eating disorder, and like, except for like eating excessive, like, I've never like binged or anything, or like purged. I've only ever been. No,
but like eating, well, and I think eating disorder, that's that sort, but it's
like chronically overeating, and like for so many different reasons, emotional satisfaction, whatever it is. And I was catching myself eating my toddler's scraps, and then like that wasn't satisfying, because that was just like food that I wouldn't have wanted anyway. So it's just like eating it instead of throwing it away. And that was an extra 300 or 400 calories that I didn't even need or want. And then just walking into the kitchen and eating a cookie, and walking into the kitchen, like I got to the point where then I also started to notice myself feeding my daughter the things that I wish I could have without consequence. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I had to stop, because I can't give my daughter dino nuggets and all the things that she could handle because she's little and she's a kid. Weight doesn't matter. Yeah. Like, no, like she can't have that kind of stuff, because her brain is developing, because her metabolism is developing, because her cravings and her palate and all of these things, like I have to be responsible for. So the GLP-1 makes it to where responsible or like healthy choices for me are a lot more effortless. Yeah. And then it creates the habit and builds the balance, and I'm not having to fight upstream as much with a lack of sleep and a lack of time and dedication to the preparation and all of that. So I shared that. And then now I'm sharing a little bit about the real life behind being a stay-at-home mom, because I was trying to be a content creator who took care of my kids, and that's not me. I'm not that. I'm a stay-at-home mom who was willing to share about it sometimes. I'm not a content creator that takes care of my kids. I'm not. No, that was my biggest thing. That was my biggest thing last year, when I really put the pause on the podcast, and I really went through that, where I looked at my husband. I said, I did not get into this I didn't get into this for a business. And I said, I got into this because I was a stay-at-home mom first. And I'm fortunate enough that this turned into a financial opportunity, but I am still a stay-at-home mom. And granted, yes, like you can define it depending on how you want. Like people sometimes might get mad where they're like, well, whatever, but I am home, and I want that still, that I got into this so I could be there to pick up my kids from the school bus. And like, I got into it where I was like, I have to take
it almost became like the things that I was like a part of the job or role of being a stay-at-home mom used to be a burden because now it was interfering with the other thing where I was like, that's bullshit. It's not that. Like, it shouldn't have to even interfere. It should just run its course together. Why am I like when you first start in that content creation, you almost think you have to create the
every day.
The every day. And it's like, no, you just exist. You just exist and you just share. If you want to share, you share. If you don't, you don't. Who cares? That's my big. I didn't feel like getting on this weekend. I don't know. But I just go based off how it is.
I think there's freedom in that. And I think that there's going to be like an abundance of opportunities for people that are trusting in that, like us now going forward, because the curation is falling out of style. You and I don't have time to curate it. And I'm sure as shit not going to prop my kid up in front of Blippi anymore so that I can make something.
Do it. Yeah.
On the side. If I've every brand I work with from here on out, like the agreement is if they can't be in it or if you can't hear them, I'm not working with. Like I can't do that. I can't create. I'm not going to get daycare so that I can make content. I will get daycare from time to time in certain things. Like I can take my job seriously, understanding the impact, the responsibility. Like I can do that occasionally, but my primary responsibility is my kid, and the brands I work with have to accommodate for things that change and things that evolve. I was working with a formula brand, Bobby, one of my absolute favorites. I was so proud to be connected.
I love them. They're good. That was one brand. That was the brand that like finally got my daughter to kind of take formula. My last born, she was bottle. She had bottle refusal. She hated all bottles, all milk, formula, nothing for a year.
Go through trying every single fucking bottle that exists on the planet, like those variety packs. But so Bobby, so I was using Bobby, and I reached out to them with my son because I used them for the entire year for my daughter. I reached out to them for my son. I said, hey, would it be, I would be so honored to I think it's so fun to create content for a brand that you love. And I'm like, okay, here. And then you can use it. It's user generated. I love it. It's so natural. I'm just helping people that I like. And I want people who are like, oh, what does Jess use for her kid? It's there. It's a resource. It's a portfolio of everything about me.
Yeah.
So I use that. Well, I don't think it's working for my son. He has a cow milk allergy to bring him.
Oh, no. Yeah.
So they reached out to me to finish up our collaboration, and they're like, hey, where are we at? There's still one more deliverable left.
Yeah.
And our agreement was that they were going to give me 4 months of formula in exchange for the content. And I had already gotten 1 month, and I've done half of my deliverables, whatever. Anyway, all to say, I reached back out to them, and I'm like, I don't think I can do it. Here's where we're at. This is what we're trying now. These are the variables I've isolated. I said,
why don't you can you give the formula to someone else?
That's what I said. I said, here's what I can do. I said, what about if you're comfortable with me being so open and honest and saying, here's what I use and here's where you can get it. And here's what I absolutely love and wish that I could continue to use, but I'm not because this other thing. I'm willing to finish out our partnership. What about if you donate what else I was going to earn, either to the fire victims, add it to that.
Yeah, something.
One of, maybe I can do a giveaway or somebody in my community who might use Bobby. And so, but the prerequisite is the brands that I work with also have to care about my family, me as a human. I can't treat everything like a business because I'm because I'm prioritizing stay-at-home mom lives. Yeah. And so I have to expect that that comes along with it. You know what I mean?
Well, they have to, because they have to, I worked with a brand that was it last year? Yeah, it was last year. I won't say what it is, but they pissed me off so much.
Oh, okay.
No, because Bobby's fine, but I can edit out too if you need me to
No, I think it's fine. I mean, you can take out maybe the exact amount that I contracted because I did negotiate.
Oh, well, you don't have to. That's fine. I'll edit whatever, Kim. But I worked with, was it Frito-Lay? Was it Frito-Lay? It was Frito-Lay. And I put together a thing for them, which it was a shit show experience. But their thing, it was the idea was hiding in a closet. And that was something I did of hide out with me and let's sit here and do words of encouragement, whatever. And it was me eating chips or whatever. And at the end, I did something about what what I always do, which is like just a good encouraging message being like, you're sitting here, but you're doing fine. You're doing okay. You're doing enough, like whatever.
Yeah.
They wanted me to eliminate all of that part of telling. And I took a screenshot of it saying like, they want to eliminate all talk of encouraging moms that they're doing a good job or something. Like it was such a wild thing that they responded back with that I was fuming. And I have a manager, but I like was on the phone with my manager being like, I will not fucking do this if they do not let me have that wording in. I said, they hired me. And I said, so it's not a UGC. I said, so if I was just creating them with zero representation on my end, and giving that to you, then I would hadn't cared. But I said, but it's my page. So that's my ethos. That's my branding. So I have to make sure my branding is in there. And finally we were able to get it in, but we had to do a lot of fighting. But it was like, that was my first experience of working with a brand that like
push back.
Well, it's not, it's a brand that I don't think some brands fully understand who they're hiring.
Human, they don't get, they're not appreciative of the human aspect of things.
Yeah.
Well, I think I'm glad that you did that. I think that again brings everything full circle, and that like I am doing the same thing. I'm here on an island. I'm creating a motherhood experience. I'm trying to be the best version of myself, raise my kids at the same time, find some sort of balance between, being accessible and available and not being there all the time and not being like codependent and defining my entire existence with my children, having some sort of passion and thing that fulfills me on the side, connection, community. By sharing all the things that I'm kind of uncomfortable sharing, like that I'm struggling with feeding my baby, that I'm overweight again for the fourth time in my life. All of these things, I feel like it's exactly what's giving me the opportunity to have the motherhood experience that I dreamed of having. So even though, like we said earlier, it looks a lot different than I dreamed.
A lot different than what we thought it would be, but that's okay.
I love that it is like it's shared experiences that are just the exact same as like if somebody were working as a lineman. It's like these are the shit that it's respectable, and it's the types of things that you are like, people have water cooler talk when they all work in a corporate office. This is the same sort of thing. It's just the woes of like
it's the woes. Yeah, it's the woes. It's like it's the ups, downs, and all arounds. But like people just get so pissy when you talk about any of the downs. Like I get so where I'm like, I was like, can we just acknowledge it? Because it's like, that's the shit that's burying us. Like for me, I sometimes just need to just see it. Like it makes such a difference when I hear about women having other, moments of like really shitty, like ADHD, PMDD, hearing someone else have that. I'm like, oh, thank God someone else understands my brain. Like, thank God.
That,
and then I don't bury myself, because then I'm spiraling the entire time where I'm like, okay, this is just me. I'm never going to escape this. I'm the only person going through this. I'm stuck. Like that's all you will convince yourself of. And you're like, oh, actually not really. It's just a thing. It's just happening to everyone. And not that it's necessarily a good thing, but I think there is like it's solidarity and survival. I think that's what we need more of, because holy shit.
Well, that's the community. And I feel like it's funny that that's our women's like our natural instinct is to connect, or we're always going to find a way to break those barriers, to slide into somebody's DMs, to become friends with somebody that they think might be similar to them. And like that's why I think content creators are like kind of a lot of times like drawn to each other to like be friends and create connections, because like we're thinking alike, we're kind of doing a lot of similar things. And then it's almost like a responsibility. Like if you have a creative approach to sharing things and connecting with people, like that's a magic that not everybody has, not everybody wants to do. And then it brings the connection to the women who aren't doing that or don't want to,
agreed.
But I'm so glad that we chatted. I feel left alone in the world. And
I know, same. This was fun. This was like a FaceTime. I'm gonna have to have you back on too, because Jess and I were like
scratched the surface. I know.
Yeah, because we were chatting about like some other things, but I want like repeat guests, so you'll come back on, because I think it's fun to like have familiar.
Well, you'll get to know
faces and experiences.
I've done so many things. I've lived a million lives, and I
know we were talking a little bit, and it's just a little cusp.
Yeah, at the very least, hopefully this just kind of makes people feel like, my main goal online is to connect with women who are like me, anybody that I told you, you're hanging out with me, you're either going to feel inspired or a little bit better about yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And or you're going to laugh your ass off. I laughed multiple times this time. I think my favorite is you telling me your dog that your butthole was clenching. I think that's going to. Because it's true. It's true.
It's just like.
Someone recently, oh God, who told me that? And it forever has fucked with everything when I raise my voice. It's if you're ever getting like if you ever feel bad about being yelled at or anything like that, or if you're ever being talked down to, just know that anger makes you clench your butthole. So they had said, I forget where I heard it, but it was like pretend like you're.
So it was for real. It was really.
So like if your boss, like let's say if you hate your boss and like you, or like you're, I don't know, feeling bad about a situation, someone's yelling at you or whatever, just know that their butthole is currently clenching as they're talking. And I said that now, but now it doesn't ever leave my brain where I'm like, if I yell at my kids, I'm like, am I clutching my ass?
Trying to relax.
I'm trying to relax you.
You're making it so hard.
Hard, yeah. I swear.
Tense. I'm feeling tense. I just need you to just be somewhere else. Like chill.
It's just so chill.
All of the different overstimuli or the stimuli in my life. But yeah, I'm excited to connect with anybody who might be like me or might know what's wrong with me. If after all of this, you have a diagnosis.
If anyone wants to diagnose us both,
my
please.
DMs are open.
Yeah, please, God. Yeah, I'm gonna have you back on because this was fun. This was great. We're gonna have to do more of this.
Well,
but for everyone listening, I adore you. But everyone listening, I'm gonna put Jess's info in here. This was like I like this. This is like a good FaceTime informal podcast that I truly enjoyed because I think that's what I need more of is just.
You mean that because I know that no, we had no direction, but I'm going to trust you.
No. This is perfect. I'm telling you right now, only because we did have. Want? This is what the people want. This is what I want because I always think about what I want to listen to, and I don't always want to be so formal because it's like I always want this to feel like you are on my other end of the couch, if that makes sense. So I want it to feel like we're just chilling and having a good girls moment, which makes it hard because like I'm
on your couch because then I wouldn't have the dog still barking in the backyard.
Because that's what we need more of. Yeah, that's what we need more of. It's just like real deal shit. That's like again, because when people come on podcasts, I have experts reaching out to me all the time. Where I'm like, then it's more formal when it's like, here's what to do in 10 steps, and I'm like, okay, yay, great. But I also just want to sit with someone that again mentions their butthole clenching, where I'm like, okay, same. Over here. It's here.
You did the same for me. So if I could give you any of that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. You gave me so much comfort in my corner of the area, probably at a 1 a.m. hour in my corner of the internet. It was probably really late at night or really early in the morning where I thought, I'm less alone. It's going to get better. And I could probably still have another baby.
Yes, you could. Give it time. I'm going to tell you, that would be my advice. Give it time.
I'm going to enjoy what we have right now before wishing away where we're at. And we'll see. I'm 36 now.
Okay, you're fine.
So, I've got time, but not a lot, but that's okay.
You got time. My grandma didn't have babies until her last baby until 41, 42. So
well, I think a lot about what that would look like for me when I'm 70, and I'd rather off myself.
But then you won't be able to hear as well. So
maybe you're right.
And I think
my mom was like, "This is why 60-year-old." She watched my kids while we were in New York a couple weeks ago, and she goes, "This is why 60-year-old women don't have babies."
I know, right?
My mom lost 5 pounds watching my kids for 4 days.
Oh God, yeah, my mom
3 days.
The last time my parents watched all my kids, it was last year we went to London, but they watched it. My poor mom had pneumonia the entire time and she didn't know it. She just thought she had a bad cold, but we got home and she was like dead. And I thought she was just exhausted from taking care of the kids. And that's what she thought. And sure enough, she had pneumonia, but she's still so scarred from it because it was so much work that my husband's
my 2 kids had COVID. My mom didn't know. And my son had cow milk allergy and eczema. And I'm like,
oh, poor thing. Yeah. Sorry. No, I think she's still scarred from it. So, okay.
Well, I can't wait to hear the response from this. I can't wait to talk to you again.
It'll be great.
I'm going to slide into your DMs so much because
please do.
It sounds like we need to be friends.
Well, yeah, obviously, please do because I have a brain that doesn't work very well, as you know. So if you don't, then I'll forget.
I can pull you out of that dark hole whenever.
Do it all the time. Do it all the time.
I'm just gonna
do it all the time.
Be like, are you struggling? What's today? I'll know. This time next month. Okay.
Yeah.
See you there.
Yeah. 1 week. Go 10 days prior to this. What's the date?
Okay.
Yeah. And then check in with me and see how I'm doing.
Okay. On 19th of next month. Oh, happy Valentine's Day. I'll be.
Actually, my husband will be. Fuck yeah, he'll be home. Okay, never mind. Thank God. He's going away. He just got told he's going out of the country. So he was like that week, and I looked at it.
Proactively brace yourself. If we know that next week is like, we know that that's coming next month, we are lining up.
But we'll be fine. I'll be fine. I actually do mind when he's solo a little bit. I've gotten to that point because I get into such a routine. When he gets home, I'm like, you're messing it up.
Bed. Yeah. You can starfish the bed and he's not there.
Yeah. That too. Okay. That's the best. Okay.
Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday. Go enjoy the weather. Please, God, go enjoy the weather as I go sit upstairs and do nothing. So, okay. All right.
You enjoy your carpet. We don't get a lot of that here in Arizona.
I mean, we worked out a lot.
Basement, bitch.
That's true. That's true.
All right.
Bye. See ya. Bye. All right, Mama, that is a wrap on today's episode of Picking Daisies. I hope today's chat left you feeling seen, understood, and maybe even gave you a good laugh along the way. As we all know, motherhood isn't easy, life isn't easy, but it's moments like these where we can connect and share our stories that really help make that load feel a lot lighter. So if you enjoyed today's episode, it would mean the world to me if you could take a moment to leave a rating and review. Your feedback not only will help this show grow, but also it will make sure it reaches other moms who might need that same dose of honesty, humor, and heart. And don't forget, if something in today's episode resonated with you, share it with a friend or hop on over to Instagram or wherever you connect on social media and keep the conversation going. I love hearing your stories and being a part of this journey with you. Thank you for being here and for showing up for yourself. And then, of course, sharing that space with me. So until next time, remember, we all grow through what we go through. You've got this, Mama. I'll see you next week.